Miss Woodall, you are here. Okay. Set attendance for this course. Miss Woodall is here. Okay, now then, let me go ahead and present and get rid of this. Let's see, I want to pull up. There we go. And present, share, and wait for it to come up. There we go. And I am recording to make sure I am also turn on caption. There we go. Okay, I did want to say two things about the test. The way I do my test, I set, and I'll tell you how I do this because I think it's important that you know how I do it. When I pick questions, each question that I pick from the test bank has a allotted amount of time that is with each question. So I kind of set all of my tests in all of my classes. I kind of set it to 50 to 60 minutes. And I give y'all 90 minutes to take the test. Okay, so most of you have, most of you might finish, some of you may finish in 30 minutes, but I give the 90 minutes because of several reasons. I'm only supposed to give you 50 minutes because most tests in a classroom setting is set at 50 minutes. And that way I give you plenty of time. And the way I tell students, if you take all 3 tests, and 5 tests with the review, if you take all of them and you're still not satisfied, then let me know and I'll fix the test and give you more time if needed. Okay, but most of the time I have been given those tests for the last, oh gosh, I don't know how long. And the 90 minutes kind of captures everything except for the final. I give extra time on the final. Give 2 hours for the final, but if somebody needs extra time on that also, I give them the extra time. So if I give you 3 chances and you take all 3 chances and you still don't feel like you have enough time, then you let me know and I'll give you a couple more chances and give you more time. So that's just something I do. It's just the way I do it. I do it in this class. I do it with 120. I do it with 110. I do it, for all of them. So I just wanted to let y'all know that. Let me go back and you have 1 week, which is 5 days to take the test. I may extend the test and the homework to Monday, so that gives y'all a whole weekend to finish. I thought that might make some of you happy. I always give you 2 to 3 times to take the test, and it gives you the highest grade. So if you make a 98 on the first test and you decide not to take it for the second and the third test, that would be 98, 0, and 0. So the 98 would be calculated. Please do not call me and ask me, if I make a 98 on the first test, do I need to take it a second and third time? Because I probably will not answer. I'll probably say, I have no earthly idea. But if you make a 75, a 78, and an 80, and you still feel like you could do better, then you just need to call me or text me or message me. Egregiously, I've got to figure out what that means. I'm gonna have to look that up. I would say graciously or grateful, maybe, but I'll have to look that one up. My vocabulary is only so limited. All right, first of all, I got a question here, and this question is 2.235/12. Now, the good thing about this question is we've already covered it. Thank you, Ms. Sterling. Egregiously. I've heard that on the news lately. I've heard that on the news lately, egregiously. All right, this is your stair step question. And I'm telling you right now, it's either going to be B or D because they love, for some reason, to put the stair step, which is what we went over. We spent a good portion of yesterday's class on the stair step. All right, so I would say it's going to be D, partly because it says the postage sent in a first class letter, is 42 cents for the first ounce, up to and including 1 ounce. Up to and including means that you got the dot on the right. Up to and including means you got the dot on the right. So it's not going to be this one because that's an open circle. It's going to be this one. Okay. Is this a test question? I will tell you right now, I stay away from stepwise functions on tests because, one, you don't see them unless you're going into traffic engineering and you go into red lights, how to time red lights. You're not going to see a lot of stepwise functions. I stick with most of the linear and nonlinear functions. That's just me. But D is going to be your answer here because of these words right there. Up to and including. Up to and including. This is not up to and including. Because which way do we read? We read from left to right. So up to and including would be D. Now, this could be a test question, but in general, I stay away from piecewise functions. This says, what happens when you're approaching the weight of 3.3 ounces? So I'm going to blow this up because you're going to have to blow it up. I don't like the 3.3 because that kind of, so there's 3.3 right here. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to draw this graph a little bit bigger on my handy dandy 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then we go 20, 40, 60, 80, $1. 20, 40, 60, 80, $2. Okay, and we've got, and I'm going to just go ahead and show you what I'm drawing. When you're doing a piecewise function, the best thing to do is just show it as simple as you can show it. All right, so 42 cent, 2040 is going to be here. And then that next one is right here. And then the next one looks like it's, let's say, 2040. Oh, that's supposed to be 30. I messed that up. Oh, well, just forget it. I'll just blow it up right here. I'm not going to try to draw it. All right, 33 cent is right there. So you take that 33 cent and you go up and you're hitting right here. And now you go over here and you say right there, well, that's 20, 40, 60, 80, $1. And then that's $1.20. And it looks like it's at $1.18 or $1.19. Okay, that's why I don't like the question, because it looks like $1.18 or $1.19. So I'm gonna put in $1.19 and $1.18. And $1.17. You should be able to hit it with one of those three because it's not $1.15. There we go. It's not $1.15 because $1.15 would be in the middle right here. So is that a good test question? No. I mean, the first part is a good test question. Picking this, that's a good test question. But 3.3 and to hit $1.17 when it looks like it's almost hitting the daggum line, to me, that's a little bit misleading. Here it says, what happens when you approach 3 on the weight? Now, you got to be careful here because it says approach 3. That means from the left and the right. Okay? So here is 3 right there. Well, the limit don't exist because when you approach 3 from the left, you hit this line. When you approach 3 from the right, you hit this line. So the limits do not what? Equal, so therefore they do not exist. On a stepwise function, most of the time the limit is not gonna exist, okay? So I don't know who sent that question, but I hope that helps. Probably D is in delta because they don't equal. So I like this question as a test question. I just don't like the middle part because I don't think that's $1.17. Now, y'all may think I'm crazy, but I think $1.17 will be a little bit right in there. But that's just me. Question. All right. So let's look at the test now. Let's go. Where is my? Now, I think some of y'all are going to be pleasantly surprised because you remember, as I told you, I'm really not big on testing you with limits. Okay, so you may think that the limit test is going to be this overbearingly difficult test. Some of you, I think 3 or 4 of you, have taken the limit test. What did you think? Anybody want to say anything about the limits test?
Okay. I haven't taken it, but I have a question about them because I'm nervous to take them. So.
Look there, easiest math test ever. See, y'all get all spastic and everything, and it's not that bad.
Does it tell you which ones you like?
I'm fixing to show you right now.
Okay, I'll tell you what I got wrong.
I'm gonna tell y'all a secret too. Miss Sterling can eyewitness this, or she can verify this, and any other students that have had me. People will call me and ask me, when is the test due? People, if you look on MyLabs Plus, it will tell you when it's due. It will tell you how many attempts you have. It'll tell you how long you have to take it. Okay, please refer to MyLabs Plus before you send me questions, please. Okay, all right, so let's go to preview. Now let me go ahead and explain right now that I am not an idiot. I'm not going to give you the same test that I'm showing you right here. Okay, if I give you a test, when I make these tests up, if I can get my mouse to work, when I make these tests up, let's say that I make a test with 10 math questions. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Each one of these questions could pull from 10 questions plus. Okay, I could be pulling from the number 2 question, I could be pulling from 15 questions. Number 3, I could be pulling from just 3 questions. Number 4, I could be pulling from 21 questions. Everybody got it? So the chances of you with randomizing order, that's your number 1, maybe somebody else's number 10. With the bonus questions that I put in to mess up the order, with algorithmically generating, in other words, your number 2 may say, solve 4x plus 4x is equal to 8. Well, somebody else's number 6 that comes from that pool question right here may say 5x is equal to 10. Okay, so it's going to algorithmically generate. And then 4, you're pooling from at least 100 questions. So what's the chances of you pulling up the same test? About the same as finding identical snowflakes. Okay? It's not going to, oh yes, thank you, Miss Sterling. Okay? Do not leave the test. I told you this yesterday. Do not leave the test. Now, you should be able to go all in the test. I think if you click outside here, I think if you hit the minimize key or do anything outside that, it's going to shut you down. And it's basically going to send me a message, and it's going to say test invalid. It's not going to say test incomplete. Test incomplete is when something has happened that is unforeseen. Okay, like disrupted internet. Like, and most of the time you can get back into the test. Okay, if I get an invalid message, I don't care how many excuses or stories you tell me, that means that you tried to get out of the test to go somewhere else, like in the homework or another, what do you solve, Khan Academy or whatever the case may be. Or you accidentally got out of the test. So thank you, Ms. Sterling. I'm trying to read while I go, and wait, you won't just give away answers to the test. No, I'm sorry, Mr. O'Quinn, don't do that. I mean, the test is pretty simple. Okay, so here we go. Let me go back to, oh, look, there is a bonus question. The only one that equals 100. And I give you 10 to 20 questions. No, I think it's 10 to 12 questions. So you're talking about a test of 10 questions. That's it. Okay? I'm looking at what you're saying. It'd be easier if you just spoke to the class, Miss Sterling. All right, the answer is D. I don't know, the teacher didn't tell me. That's the best question. That's what all y'all do at the end of the semester. I didn't know. Nobody told me. Especially the chick that said, I didn't know that we got a 0 for incomplete assignment. Nope, give you a biscuit. Next. And there's your first limit question. Find the vertical asymptotes. Boy, that's difficult. I told y'all I would give y'all vertical asymptotes and horizontal. So g of x, let's put up our handy dandy. So x squared plus 36x is equal to 0. X plus 36 is equal to 0. X is equal to 0. X plus 36 is equal to 0. X equals negative 36. That don't seem right. Yeah, I took out an x. Okay. I guess it's just x is equal to 0 then. And x is equal to negative 36. So that just don't feel right. I don't solve a lot of those. So that would be 0 and negative 36. Charlie.
Yes.
Because I didn't take square root. I'm making sure I didn't take a square root. I thought that's what we were going to do. That's why I didn't like the negative 36. And you can't check answer, but I can to show you that that is the correct answer. You just have submit. You don't have this. Sorry. Next. I think I did this question for y'all. I'm not sure if I did or not. Which one looks like the slope?
C.
C. Let's look. What is the slope of the tangent line if you have A and F of A?
A.
Okay, so it looked like it'd be A because A would be. Let me go through and show that to you.
Or we can just say B and C are adding a third variable that wasn't there before.
Well, that's true. You could do the deduction if you wanted to. But if I give you a line and I give you this is A and this is f of A, then you know that the second one is going to be called A plus H, and this is going to be called f of A plus H. They may say this is f of Q or f of W or whatever the case may be. In this case, they're giving you f of T because this is initial. Initial is going to be A or going to be sub-zero. That's initial. So that means that the other one is going to be your x of 2 or x of x plus h and x plus h here. So I would say it's going to be A. And we covered that with the difference quotient. We covered it yesterday with one of your homework questions, and we covered it today. So you should be able to get that one on the test. Golly, this ain't hard so far.
1/2.
Next. What should a student do if something happens? Oh, I had to go on a cruise. That's what one of my students told me at the end of the semester. Or out of class for a while. Mr. O'Quinn, where do you work?
Industrial warehouse services.
And what happens if you go on a vacation and you don't call your boss for a week or two?
Answering honestly, nothing.
Okay. Well,
I am the boss.
oh, you're self-employed. Okay, well, you don't count. Who's got a job somewhere, a real job? Just kidding. Who's got a real job? What would happen if you did not tell your boss or your supervisor that you were going to be gone for a week to 2 weeks, and you just told them when you got back? What would happen?
I think you're going to be drawing unemployment.
Exactly. You would not get a participation trophy. You would get fired. All right? So don't give me that bull crap. And the student didn't even tell me, you know, when she told me that she had to go on a cruise, she told me grade turn-in. That's about a week and a half after the final exam week.
I would have just made something else up. That's a dumb excuse.
Well, you can't, well, yeah. But, so there are some students that think it's easy just to say, oh, I didn't know. Yeah. Okay. All right, I think we did one kind of like this one. I don't know. I don't remember seeing one. What happens when you're approaching 1 from the right? Well, you can forget this because you're looking at this one. 1 from the right, you're approaching what? 3. I told y'all at the beginning of limits, I said it wasn't going to be difficult. Find the limit. What do you do here? Plug and what?
Chug.
Plug and chug. So that's going to be 23 minus 5 times 8. What's 23 minus 40? Negative 17. Okay, you're going to have to stop, Miss Sterling. I ate gummy bears and physically could not leave the bathroom. Okay, that's interesting. Okay. All right, so that's that. Gummy bears. I like the worms myself. If you miss a question on a test and believe it is correct, what should you do? I like C myself because that's what y'all do. Y'all send me several emails with the last one saying, hello. Which one is it?
Scream and throw a tantrum, clearly.
Yeah, that's the second best one. I like that one. And how do you do that in this class? Because you sit there and you wait until I turn off the recording and I call the roll, and then I say, okay, y'all have a good day. Because I do not end the class unless I'm pissed off or unless, I have to go somewhere and I say, I got to go. See y'all. Most of the time, I wait until everybody's gone. And if there's nobody here asking a question, I'll just exit. Okay? E, all of the above. If you want the truth, I may do A and B. Okay. If you scream and throw a tantrum, then your mother and father or whoever you live with is going to see it. I'm not. B, yes. So Mr. Harrison, you are correct. Okay. I'm looking to see, why isn't have a massive, I think massive panic attack would be scream and throw a temper tantrum. Yeah, make sure you have the panic attack several hours after you take the test. So that way it'll ruin the whole time between the time you take the test and the next time you'll see me, like in class. So make sure you do that. Just ruin 2 or 3 days or a whole weekend maybe. Ruin a whole weekend. Most of the time, let's see, who's had me before? Miss Patel, you've had me before.
I have.
MacArthur, right?
Yep.
And Miss Sterling. Most of the time, what will I do on your questions that you challenge? Anybody?
I've never had a challenge.
Okay, you never had it to? Anybody who knows? Most of the time, if it's not, the answer is -5 and you put +5, I can't help you there. Okay? But most of the time, if it says 1/2 and you put 0.5, or if it's 0.5 and you put 0.4896, stuff like that, unless the directions really do specify, I usually go with, the student answer unless it's totally 100% wrong. Okay?
And you're able to see that at the end of the test.
Yes.
Okay.
And you can go into your grade book 2 or 3 days after. You can go into your grade book and hit review, and you can review the test. And I can pull up the test when I meet with you. I'll pull the test up and see what you are challenging. So you don't have to write anything down. You don't have to send me a picture. You don't have to do any of that. Just see me after class. Simple as that. Limit at infinity. Oh my, I don't know if we can do this one or not. I think I need to put some harder questions on here. As x approaches infinity of 1 over x minus 3. 1 over infinity minus 3. Oops, infinity is this way. What is 1 over infinity?
0.
What's 0 minus 3?
-3.
-3. Remember, what did I tell y'all when we started limits? All I wanted you to be able to do was to be able to understand the limit theory. That's all I wanted you to do. Oh, let's check it. Do I want you to write a thesis on it? No. I want you to be able to have some of that homework. I didn't make the homework, so if you look at your overall grade one day and it has decreased from several days ago, Hubert and Russia have conspired against you.
Yes.
That's for the student that said that she didn't know that she got a 0. And then she went to tell me that her high school did not give 0s, they gave 50s. I said, well, I didn't grow up in a trophy world. Butter. Yeah, that's what I'm cooking. I think of these questions when I'm cooking sometimes. Okay? All right, here we go. This is one. Now, what did I tell you to do here? You could do this one either way. You could either take the rule of the same degree, or you could divide through by x cubed. I'm going to use the rule of the same degree. Why? Somebody tell me why.
Because nothing else will matter at infinity.
Because the degree is the same for x to the third as the bottom. Limit as x approaches infinity. And you're right, it's not going to matter. 2 to the third minus 2x squared plus 3x over negative x to the third minus 2x.
Are you writing this? Because we can't see it.
Yes, I'm fixing to show it to you. Will you hold on a minute? Heck, come on. There we go. All right. So you could divide everything by, well, 50 divided by infinity then. I don't understand. 50 divided by infinity would be 0. Yes. I guess that's what you're saying. Okay. I could divide everything by x cubed because that's the leading of the denominator, x cubed. And if I did that, I'd get 2x cubed over x cubed minus 2x squared over x cubed plus 3x over x cubed over negative x cubed over x cubed minus 2x over x cubed plus 7 over x cubed. And that's going to give you a negative 1 here. And these two are going to go to what? What are these four going to go to? Let me get my, what does this go to? What's 2 times infinity over infinity? Cubed. That's going to go to 0. That's going to go to 0. That's going to go to 0. And that's going to go to 0. And you're left with 2 over negative 1. And what is 2 over negative 1?
Negative 2.
Negative 2. Now, if you just went with the same degree rule, you could take this out and take this out and just go with the coefficients of those two right there. That's the same degree rule. When did I show y'all that? During the video that 9 of you watched. Hopefully more of you watched it after that day. Okay? So that's negative 2. Now, let me go ahead and warn you that there will be 2 or 3 levels of difficulty on these questions, the ones that I'm doing. You may get like this question. This question is a fairly simple question, but in the pool of questions that this comes from, there could be a harder question or there could be a more simple question. Everybody with me? So each one of these math questions is pulling from 10 questions. You could get a hard question or you could get an easier question than the one I'm doing. Does everybody understand that? I hope you do. Next. And a lot of people saying, golly, I can't believe this test is that simple. Well, I told you it wasn't going to be that hard. And I also told you that what is my prime directive to get to chapter what? 3. Because that's where the calculus starts. Y'all don't listen to me. Does Hubert replace your lowest test grade with your final exam grade? Hell no, I do not. And I do that for a reason. Because I'll get 1 or 2 of y'all at the end of the semester. You're going to email me or text me and say, I thought you replaced the lowest grade with the test grade, with the final exam. Will I reply? No. If you have incomplete assignments and Hubert puts a 0 in for the grade, what will this do to your grade? Give you a shiny new quarter.
I like tapioca for that one.
When does the homework terminate? Toward the end of the semester, toward the end of the material. It's not supposed to bunch them up like that. All right, do this one. This one says the square root of 1 plus x minus 1 over x, limit as x approaches infinity. Now I can, or 0. I wish it was infinity, it'd be easier. So what should you do on this one first? Well, you plug in 0, you're going to get an undefined function.
Right.
Oh, that's easy. Go cry in a corner. I would say quit. What do you mean you don't want to do? Why don't you want to do 1.4? What's 1.4? That's not difficult. All right, so what do we do first? How about the conjugate? What do y'all think?
Maybe.
Let's try it. Oh, wait a minute. I don't want Miss Hart hollering at me. There we go. Square root of that 1 plus x plus 1 over the square root of 1 plus x plus 1. And that's going to give us square root of 1 plus x quantity squared minus 1 quantity squared, shortcut number 3, over x times the square root of 1 plus x plus 1. Limit as x approaches 0. And that's going to give us, that's going to cancel that out. 1 plus x, something's wrong here. It's not supposed to do this. Over x times the square root of 1 plus x plus x. Y'all make sure I did that right. And limit as x approaches 0, the 1's cancel. And that leaves you with x over x. I'm going to leave that out. Square root of 1 plus x plus 1. And that the x's cancel. Limit as x approaches 0 of 1 over, thank God, the square root of 1 plus x plus, no, I didn't do this. I didn't do this. I just went from here to here. And that's going to give us 0 to be 1. And there's not 1. I think it's 1 over 2. I think it's 1 over 2, but I don't know how I got that.
You left out the plus 1.
I think I messed up. What?
You left out the plus 1 after the
Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Plus 1. There we go. There we go. Plus 1. Thank you. There it is, 1 over 2. Because I did that one before class, I think. Question. No, I did not call you that. I called you Miss Hart.
I had a teacher who used to call me Heart Fart, so I'm not offended. I just thought it was funny.
That's just one of those words I don't like. Just like some of y'all don't like the word moist. I don't like that word. All right, next. Let's see how many hands. I said moist. Let's see how many have a fit when I say the word moist. I don't know why that word bothers people. Next. Oh, yeah, you might as well quit on this one, buddy. We only did how many of these, Miss Hart?
Like 8 at this point.
I think we did. I think we did 5. All right.
Today.
Today.
It's worth of it.
Well, I tell y'all what, I will go and change this test after class, and I'll make it a little bit more difficult. How about that?
No, it's okay.
Please don't. Then I may actually go cry in the corner if you do.
12x squared plus 7x plus 1 over the square root of 4x to the 4th plus x to the 3rd. Now, like I said, we did this, so I'm going to go over here. I'm going to do it just like I did. I'm going to take my yellow marker or green marker, and I'm going to go square root of x to the 4th is equal to x squared. And I'm going to divide the top by x squared, and I'm doing the long way. So that'd be 12x squared plus 7x plus 1, 4x to the 4th plus x cubed. And I'm going to divide the top by x squared. And the bottom, because I can't multiply 1 over x squared across the, but I can multiply the square root of x to the 4th times this, or 1 over x to the 4th, and that give me an x to the 4th there, an x to the 4th there. And that's going to give me 12 plus 7 over x plus 1 over x squared over the square root of 4 plus x, or 1 over x. And as I apply the limit theory, limit as x approaches infinity, what does that do to these 3 terms? Zeros them out. And what's 12 divided by 2?
In the
6.
comments.
I think that's the exact one I sent you too.
It probably is. I remember getting 6, 9, and 8, and 3. I remember one where we got 24 divided by 8. I think that was 3. Okay, next. Plug and what?
Plug and chug.
Plug and chug. So, limit as x approaches 2 of 3x to the 5th minus 2x to the 4th plus 4x to the 3rd plus x squared minus 5. 3 times 32 minus 2 times 16 plus 4 times 8 plus 9. 4 minus 5. Y'all check me. 3 times 32 is 96 minus 32 plus 32 plus 4 minus 5. The 32s cancel. 100 minus 5 is what?
95.
It's a miracle. Oh, I don't think we checked that last one. Let's go back and check it.
Honestly, I'd be so happy with a check answer button, even if I couldn't change the answer afterwards, so I don't have to wait till the end to find out.
I know. Okay, this is very difficult. It's the only one that's got the United States in front of it, and please don't
Army.
pick on them.
Be cooler if it was like Air Force.
Air Force.
No, please don't. I don't even think they go to basic training. I think they just hang out at a hotel.
That's why it's called the Chair Force.
Oh, that's funny. I never heard of that before. We just call them flyboys. If you take, but when I was in Saudi Arabia, in Kuwait, I sure did like the Air Force with those them warthogs. I saw one of them warthogs take out a Russian tank, and I was about 500 feet away from it. And that Russian tank, it hit that Russian tank with everything it had, and it took the, the turning thing around the turret or whatever it's called. It flipped it up about 200 feet in the air. That sucker was on fire. It hit with incendiary, you know what the word is. Incendiary, I can't say it. And buddy, it just
Incendiary.
melted. Yeah, it melted. It was melting. The tracks was melting. The tank was melting. Oh, it was just melting. Anyway, there you go. There's your
Answer to what happens when you
they call them warthogs. They call them gas tank with guns, because that's all it is. And when it goes off, it's like you can't even hear. I mean, it's just like, oh, it's just awesome. Anyway,
It's a plane that was built for a gun, not a gun built for a plane.
there you go. I tell you what, we sure did love seeing them things come. It would blow them tanks up in a heartbeat. If you take several forms of a test in Hubert's class, how is it counted? He takes the highest grade and drops the lowest. Next. The number one most missed bonus question that Hubert gives. If somebody could explain to me how you missed this question, I believe I'd give you an A, but I cannot figure out how people miss that question.
The answer is B.
Which is overall grade. They don't even do that anymore because people screwed it up. So now they default it. When you pull up your grade book, it automatically shows you your overall grade because people got tired of students sending questions. How do we find the overall grade? Hit the overall grade button. All right, so we are approaching 0. So that means from the left and the right. As you approach 0 from the left and the right, what are you going to? As I approach 0 from the left and the right, what am I limiting to? -2.
-2.
Incendiary. Thank you.
It's in the
Incendiary.
It's in the air.
Incendiary. Dang old oxygen.
Incendiary.
Dang old oxygen. I couldn't pronounce oxygen. Still can't pronounce it. I couldn't pronounce it till I was old enough, and it was like I was like in college, and I was still saying oxygen. Oxygen. Next.
So why don't you ever say foil?
There's a story behind that. There was this lady from Pennsylvania, and this was my second semester teaching, and I was in Pickens 122, and it was totally different back then. And Pickens 122, there was a room in there, and I was teaching, and she sat in the back, and she told everybody the first day of class that she was perfect, basically, and she spoke perfect English, and that if anybody, I mean, that's what she did. And there was about 4 or 5 Bubbas and Bubettes sitting on the front rows in that class. And I mean, I'm talking Tomasi, Salem, Lounsville. I mean, they were true Bubbas and Bubettes. And we had a little altercation in there. And it basically, what does Hubert not entertain? Why does Hubert not entertain extra credit, extra points, dropping any grades? Because I give you extra points with these type bonus questions, and I drop the lowest 2 grades on each unit test. So don't come to me at the end of the semester and ask me for what? Extra points.
Admit it, you want us to live in a ditch.
That's it. If a student does not complete a homework assignment, what grade will be recorded?
I like a trophy. Can I get a trophy?
Trophy, yeah, everybody needs a trophy. Anyway, so halfway through the semester, I go, we're going to start the FOIL method, but I pronounced it the way that I pronounce it, being the Southern gentleman that I am.
Full.
There you go. And she wanted to make a big deal out of it, and she wanted to say, Mr. McClure, I do not understand what you are saying. And that's the way she talked. And she talked through her nose. And I said, well, we're going to use, with 2 binomials, if you multiply, you use the FOIL method. And I didn't spell it, I said it. I still do not understand what you are saying, Mr. McClure. Well, by that time of the semester, by 3/4 of the semester, she had already gone from, being funny at the beginning of the semester to really getting on the Bubette's and Bubba's nerves. And when she came out with, I wrote it on the board, I said FOIL. And she went, "Oh, you mean foil." And that's exactly the way she said it. She said foil. And those Bubette's and Bubba's, they just left out, and they laughed at her. I had to finally end class because they were still laughing. And the whole class laughed. She ran out of the room crying. So she was a prime example of she could dish it out, but she couldn't take it. She didn't even come back. She never did come back. Somebody finally came back and got her books. So I don't know. I don't know what happened. But that was 1997. No, 1996. And she couldn't dish it out. Anyway, that's the story behind FOIL. So to this day, I don't pronounce FOIL, COIL, OIL. I don't pronounce any of those words. So, because I always have some smart aleck in the group that goes, "Oh, I do not understand what you're saying, Hubert." So.
They also failed English, didn't they? Didn't pick up on those context clues.
Heard a story recently. Okay, Miss Yoda. Okay, now you're gonna have to explain that one. I don't understand that one. Anyway, who has questions on today's? I'm gonna shut down the recording. Does anybody have any questions? Now, let me ask you a question. I'm gonna ask y'all a question right quick. How many of you feel a whole lot better since you've seen the test? Let's see some hands. I see some hands popping up. So I guess what I'm trying to ask you is, next time you ought to believe what Hubert says. Okay? Now, does that mean the derivative test is going to be easy? Oh, hell to the no. Okay?
The derivatives are easy.
The derivatives are easy themselves, but what about the algebra behind the derivatives? They're not so easy.
This is not an algebra class, okay?
What?
I said I didn't think this was an algebra class.
It's not, but if you want to be successful at calculus, you have to make sure you know the algebra. I mean, you have to master algebra. You don't have to master trig, but you have to master algebra to pass any calculus class. Okay, so with that being said, I'm going to leave it up to y'all. I'm going to shut down, stop sharing, and shut down the recording, and ask if there's any other questions for y'all.
I figured out what they do with my book.
What?
I figured out what they did. They have the ISBN sticker on the outside of my book that matches the hardcover book, but the actual ISBN